I go, I just called Danny McBride a bright shooting star. And she's like, you're right. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
I want to run through some luminaries you've crossed paths with over the years.
Okay.
The first one being, and just kind of get what comes to mind, the time Adam Sandler invited you to smoke a cigar.
Oh, yeah. I was working the door at the Improv, and I think he just thought I was like a nice kid. I'm standing there, and I probably was just staring at him like, oh. He's a legend and a true hero of mine. And he's been a legend for 30 years. And so I was like enamored, and he was like, do you want to, they opened up the cigar shop next door for him and his friends to smoke cigars in. And he asked if I wanted to join. And I stood in the corner and didn't say a word and like didn't chime in, wasn't a part of the conversation, I didn't do anything. I just was like, oh, and couldn't believe I was there. You know, I was like 20 years old or whatever, but it was just cool to see how nice of a guy he was, that he was willing to just see some kid that is staring at him and was able to throw him the olive branch of smoking a cigar that for sure probably made me puke.
Somebody you've worked with a number of occasions, Zac Efron. Did he ever end up staying here?
No, dude. He calls me, there's a few, maybe 6 months ago now, but he was like, we're on this text chain, me, Aubrey, Anna, and Zach, and our director, Jake Szymanski. Like, for whatever reason, I think Mike and Dave is airing a lot on TV, and it's on Max or something, and people are watching it a lot now. And so we were texting like, oh yeah, so just ran into someone, they told us about Mike and Dave. Yeah, oh yeah, this happened to me. And then Zach calls me, hasn't called me in a couple years, and calls me out of the blue. He's on some private island somewhere, and he's like, hey man, I just want to let you know that I miss you. And I'm like, I miss you too, dude. You're a good friend of mine, yada yada. And he's like, you still have that place down by the beach? And I'm like, I do. And he's like, would it be cool if I came and crashed with you for 2 weeks? And I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, sure. Yeah, come stay with me. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna call you tomorrow to get all the details, and then I'll be there early next week, okay? And then you'll send me the address and all that. I'm like, all right. And so I come back in, I'm like, Chloe, I think Zach's gonna come live here with us for a couple weeks, I don't know. And she's like, okay, yeah, I guess so. And then he ghosted me, dude. Never called back. I even texted him like, are you gonna stay here? And haven't talked with him since. So I have no idea, dude. No idea.
Neighbors premiere. You're at an after party in a hotel room. Set the scene and tell about crossing paths with Danny McBride.
Seth Rogen is obviously the star of the movie. We had a little cameo in the movie, and he...
You and Seth like to have fun.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to go toe-to-toe with Seth smoking weed. And I can smoke weed, but I can't smoke weed like Seth Rogen, obviously. No, dude. I mean, he's a chimney. He's just like, that's how his air that he breathes is weed smoke.
And you prefer booze or weed?
I like them both.
Okay.
I like them both, Graham. But I can't smoke like him, you know? And so I'm going toe-to-toe, and I'm like cross-eyed. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm doing great. And then through the smoke emerges the legend that is Danny McBride. And he's on my Mount Rushmore of comedy heroes. Like, he's fantastic. I love the guy.
And why? Like, what
I just think he's
that for you?
Well, Eastbound and Down and Foot Fist Way, his movie that he made before Eastbound and Down. I remember we watched it when we were still doing sketches, me and the Workaholics guys, and we were doing sketches, and Anders comes in, and on our day that we would write the sketches, Wednesdays, and he came in and was like, we have to watch this movie. He had a friend that was an agent, and he was like, these guys, evidently this is the movie that's the talk of Hollywood. And we're like, okay. And so we watched the movie, and then we watched it right back. And then from there, we were like, those guys seem like us. Like, it's not like Will Ferrell seems bigger than life. he was on SNL. He was like part of the machine that is SNL, and then they launched. We kind of thought you had to do something else before you could get your shot. And for us, Danny was the blueprint of how to go about it outside of the system. So Danny emerges from this cloud of smoke, and I'm so excited to meet him, and he's a hero of mine. So I go, "You're Danny McBride." And he's like, "I know." And I don't know why I thought this was a cool thing to say to him, or even a thing to say to anyone. I go, "You're a bright shooting star." That's what I said to Danny McBride. "You're a bright shooting star." And he goes, "Yeah, man." And I grabbed my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, "We have to leave." And she's like, "Why? I'm having fun." And I go, "I just called Danny McBride a bright shooting star." And she's like, "You're right. Let's go. Let's get out of here."
So did you think when you realized you could be up for Righteous Gemstones, there was any shot? Or
Yeah, well, it kind of came out of the blue. They were like, "Hey, they're interested in you for Righteous Gemstones, this show that Danny McBride is putting together." And I'm like,
now, did you have that in the back of your head? That
"Oh, dude," I was like, "Me? He's thinking about me? I called him a bright shooting star. He's going to think I'm a total nerd." And luckily, Danny, I think, was also pretty stoned at this party, because he doesn't really, he kind of remembers it, but he was like, "Yeah, I don't remember you being as awkward as you think you were." So I'm like, thank God. But because in my head, I was like, "Oh, you're a bright shooting star," and in his head, I was like, "What's up, Danny? Nice to meet you." So thank God. And then I got offered Righteous Gemstones, and here we are, 4 seasons later.